had a dream. And this was before I knew who my publisher was going to be. And in this dream, I had a publisher come to me and tell me, if you'll write a book about how AI has stolen the vocal cords of our children, I'll publish it. And then in October of that year, I had a vision. And this was while I was awake. Jesus came to me and he took me by the hand and he walked me down this dirt path and he took me into an underground cave at the base of a mountain. And within that cave, he took me into this large, dark cavern, and I couldn't see anything until he released his breath, and it kind of billowed out like this blue light, and it lit up the cavern enough that I was able to see that there were children in cages lining the walls of this cavern, and they were plugged into the walls. And so Jesus turned to me and he said, "Take the key of David and go unlock those cages." Now, there was no sound coming from the children, so I went and I unlocked the cages and unplugged them from the walls. And many of the children, they ran to the arms of Jesus, but there were some that stayed in the cages. And I knew it was because they were programmed to stay. Then Jesus said, "Take your sword and demolish the cages." Well, as I'm having this vision, the Holy Spirit is giving me revelation that the lockdowns and school closures, because I had this vision October 10th, 2020.
Uh,
So the Lord was showing me that these lockdowns and school closures, what they did is they forced our children onto their devices for, schooling, for social interaction, and for entertainment. And that was all by design because that allowed Nephilim hosts, which I talk about in the Roots of the Federal Reserve, it allowed them to capture AI data on our children to hoodwink them. And it was at that point in time that Jesus began showing me that we have an entire generation, not just children, but adults as well, that have been hoodwinked, and it's time to set the captives free. So then, when the Roots of the Federal Reserve was published, the Lord asked me to walk in Ephesians 5:11, which says, "Have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them."